Hi, this is Anand. Today I'm going to talk about the B2B architecture for product catalogs. A lot of architects have reached out and they have been asking about the experiences about how the B2B catalog should be structured. So I have some experiences. My experience might not be the straight fit, but it should give you some ideas as what to not to do in a B2B product catalog. So why don't we just spend some time on the next slides and we'll figure it out. Yeah. So let's talk about B2B product catalog architecture. As usual, I've tried to keep the catalog in the middle of it so that we all understand that with the focus is on B2B e-commerce catalog. We are not talking about a catalog setup in a ERP system. We are talking about a catalog setup in a B2B e-commerce channel ecosystem. And that's where the centering of that e-commerce comes in. Well, we all have to understand that B2B commerce in majority of the cases is actually a slave system when it comes to product data. The product data should actually come from most of the order management or supply chain ERP that you might have. It could be your SAP S/4HANA, it could be your old school SAP ECC 6.0, or it could be your Oracle or similar kind of other Manhattan and other ERPs that you might find out in your organization. So you have to pump in a huge amount of data. That data should be of product SKU data, which is going to be a heavy load. I have seen customers having 300,000 SKUs in a huge master, and that entire master needs to be pushed to the B2B commerce. So that's the first part, that you need a product master to be moved to your catalog from the ERP systems to the front end B2B commerce. Uh, Back in some 12 years back, I've seen people implementing even Excel based load for B2B commerce. But trust me, it's a bad idea to do it because I know the operational overhead, which is not worth it. So the first step is to get the SKU master data. Now, all of these SKUs will be in some relationship. Some of them will be categories, some of them will be, having more variants with them. So you need to identify the right relationship among them. So the product categorization and the product incremental data should have the relationship of that product of the SKUs. So that's the second data which comes in from the ERP system to the B2B commerce. The incremental data is also called that because you might pump in the SKU from one time and you might load 300,000 SKUs in the first day of your e-commerce implementation, but you cannot do this almost every day because the catalog doesn't change every day in that bit. In most of the cases, the catalog hardly changes 1% or 0.5% within a week. So that is the only incremental load that you need to send from your ERP to the B2B commerce catalog. So the lesson for this entire thing is that only once you have to send a huge load of your catalog from the ERP, and later only look out for the delta data, which is the incremental data, the data which might have changed from the last feed to the new feed, and only push that data into your e-commerce catalog. The reason I tell you about incremental data, because if you keep pumping in all the catalog every time, then the system who's interfacing it might be the middleware, might be some loading system, some cron jobs sitting in your e-commerce. They will all get very slow. Your server will become slow. And when 90% of the world, e-commerce is still, on the SaaS cloud or maybe monolithic, it will become seriously slow if you keep loading the data that much almost on a daily basis. So that's the first part. Second is the CRM part. Majority of the customers, actually look out for, contracted data and the kind of sale they are making. So sometimes they have a huge sale, so they will give huge amount of customer, discounts because that's how the pricing should be. Sometimes the contract is driven by some old contract which is already digitalized into the system, so you have to work with it. So the contract master and the CRM have to work together. uh, the best in class, CRM versus, B2B commerce might look like that. The CRM has a lot of price list, and a lot of account managers define these price lists depending upon the segment of customer that you are in, the kind of price list that they have been approved by their management in that quarter, and that pricing has to be synced to the commerce. So you can trust your CRM as well as your ERP system for inheriting the B2B pricing data towards the commerce. So that's the second part. The third part is the contracts master. Well, this is a bit tricky. The contract master can be sent to the catalog directly or can be pushed to your ERP directly, and the ERP can feed it back. Both the ways, the contract's restrictions of categories. should always flow to the e-commerce. I'll explain why. A majority of the commerce are actually built on on the logic that or not everybody should have access to almost all the products or all the categories and all the pricing that I have might have across different segments of my customer. So the contract defines what you can see within a B2B commerce. That is the reason the B2B commerce is called as B2B, because it has got contracts enforcement. So you have to make sure that what is the categorization allowed, what is the pricing allowed, which are the SKUs allowed. There are customers who have only allow 10 SKUs to specific customers, while other customers of the same organization might have access to more than 1,000 SKUs. So you have to be inside your contract all the time. And that contract data in terms of what all products has to be enabled for which all sold to and payers is something you have to define from your contract master, feed it to the commerce directly or indirectly via ERP. But you have to make sure that the contracts are posted. Fourth one is the CPQ, the configurations. Now, CPQ has been become a separate project these days, but I think in the long run they should actually be merged towards e-commerce anyways. Uh, Configuration for any product might be multiple. Generally, ERP has the master data that what all are the kind of variants one product can have, but then the keeping this configurations data might get very heavy for old school ERPs. Some of the modern cloud ERPs do support even the configurations in very detail, and that's amazing because you don't need a third-party system to hold the configurations. But majority of my implementations, I have seen that they will have a separate CPQ system, which will hold the configuration of the product to the variants kind of mapping. So that configuration business rules also has to be pushed towards your commerce, so that the commerce, when people are searching, then they can actually select one configuration out of 50 other possibilities. And the moment they select that configuration, the dynamically the specific SKU is selected, and dynamically the specific SKU pricing from the B2B perspective gets selected. That's another part from the configuration perspective that you have to take care in the B2B commerce catalog. And let's look in the top part, the CDN and the DAM. In one of my other sessions, I talked about the digital assets management. The catalog should have the right level of digital assets coming from the front-end applications, which will enable the engagement of the catalog. A lot of people in B2B space believe that only the list of SKUs and the product IDs matter. But actually, even in a B2B commerce catalog, when people are browsing through product pages, product listing pages, product detail pages, and the marketing assets, they do expect you to deliver those marketing assets. The videos of the product should be there. The images should have lots of variations. A lot of technical diagrams are being published these days because of the compliances need, because of best practices needs in European geo is what I've seen so far. So do look out for a digital assets management integration towards B2B commerce. Now, most of the digital assets management system will give you a list of URLs, which you will probably import into a commerce catalog via CSV flat file, which is picked up via some cron job from a FTP folder. But that's the kind of integration you have to look out for DAM. Try avoiding setting up DAM inside your commerce. The moment you do that, you are making your commerce very complacent, very heavy, and it will become super slow when you start making transactions. So always look out for a separate DAM with a well-powered CDN on its background. If you want to keep your commerce working and the catalog page is loaded very fast, the way Amazon does it, the way most of the other B2B commerce companies are doing it, then you have to find a right CDN backed digital asset management system integrated to the catalog. Last but not the least, there is you should also use the e-commerce catalog to punch out catalog. Punch out catalog means that a lot of B2B commerce also work with many, B2B marketplaces. Now it could be an Amazon kind of marketplaces, or it could be something like a TradeShift or TradePlace in the European geo. And you have to punch those catalogs in their required specific formats. So you should have some kind of REST APIs or some kind of integration layer sitting on top of your B2B commerce, so that other channels who can also pick up some orders on behalf of your organization, they can also inherit your catalog and take your business outside your own organization. That's how you expand the reach of B2B commerce. That's how you increase the viability of the order entry inside your ecosystem. So I think that's the summary of the B2B commerce, catalog part. If you have some more questions, please reach out to me. I'm always looking out for services engagements. I'm reachable at anand@t24global.com. Happy to help you. Thank you.